YouTube comments from a video titled, "Millions of Americans Just Got Screwed Out of Healthcare." Part 1.
Jack Morgan 2.0 wrote,
Thanks to everyone for supporting us while we were demonetized. Please consider subscribing to this second channel. Love you guys. We also started an RLP Discord, discord.com.
At M06Lover wrote,
You are correct at 1819, and peeps get into the medical care field for the Benjamins. That is why there has been a shortage of PCPs for about 2 decades now. Between the cost of medical school and then malpractice insurance, 30% of their gross salaries goes for this. Peeps don't want to be PCPs for $242,000 a year. Instead, be an obgyn $390,000, surgeon $483,000, or anesthesiologist $523,000.
At Jane 5720 wrote,
I paid $1,200 a month on Cobra for 18 months, so that's just for me, a single person, so people that complain about a family rate. Come on.
At M06Lover wrote,
Wrong at 11.23, and paying out of pocket is probably cheaper than underinsurance. Insurers negotiate with providers and provide multiple patients for each type of service/surgery. Therefore, they get quantity discounts. I've seen articles/stories where uninsured peeps pay 200% more/triple what an insured patient would pay.
At Emerald Boar 5923 wrote,
Math note: $900/month $65,000 for health insurance is 1 PO in T5% of income. So you're paying 18% of your income for second-rate healthcare coverage. Not all American food is illegal as other countries. I do know that it's hard to find food with artifact colors and flavors Ontario, Canada. Now, what different between natural V's beats me.
At Adamtaho wrote,
Company ABC wants to get insurance for its employees. Of course, you need a middleman insurance broker to find you the best rates. Said broker needs to make a percentage and pay their overpaid staff who also have insurance. Then you are placed with an insurance company who again has overpaid employees, all who have company insurance, so the charge to the company is excessive so they can cover the cost of the insurance company employees. Then you go to the hospital where just about every employee is massively overpaid. Appointment setters making over 30 PO in T00 per hour. Janitors making over 30 PO in T00 per hour. Nurses getting massive wages. Doctors, etc. Plus all the medical equipment that was sold to said hospital, and that company has to pay all of their overpaid employees and their insurance. It goes on and on and on. People will not talk about the cost of employees and their benefits, but the numbers are real and someone has to pay the price.
At Lisa Soul Level Healing wrote,
People pay 25-45% now. So you wouldn't rather get free healthcare? Joel Slow. They have free healthcare, dental, vision, and mass transportation, free college education, as well as anti-corruption laws. The people on Europe aren't as docile and are superior educated than it Americans, though. I moved to France because that's obvious if you travel.
At Breek 579 wrote,
Mexico is a crapshoot. I have treated numerous patients that thought they would buck the system and the lost. Infection and serious health conditions. The doctors do not have the same regulations that they have in other countries. I would go to Korea or even China over Mexico. Your money goes much further than the US, even that far of a trip, and their systems are even more advanced than here in the US. I am an ERRN, but I got into medical school, so I have a biology degree. I did do a semester abroad in college, and I can verify this is true. Also, a great trip out of it as well.
Ehliangel 1 wrote,
Lib states are using POC to slide into a socialist system. In regards to healthcare, they are giving free healthcare to immigrants and blacks to get them to rally behind socialism. These people have no idea how shitty it will be if we went to socialism.
At Darkside0365 wrote,
It's not only the premiums, it's the deductibles that are $10,000 and you pay out of pocket until you reach the deductible. Why am I paying a $1,000 a month for the privilege to pay an additional $10,000 before it kicks in? Absolutely not.
At Kindle Lover 88 wrote,
My mom this May 2025 was diagnosed with breast cancer. She found it and she was stage 2. 4 rounds of chemo, $25,000 PO in T00 each sessions, so $100,000 then her surgery. We have not get the statement from the hospital yet, but it has to be more. She is healthy, but this came out of nowhere where. So glad she has insurance. We do not have a history of cancer in the family. To me, her life is worth every penny of insurance she has paid in her lifetime. You have to remember, if we were on a countrywide healthcare system, all prices would be negotiated so each hospital wouldn't get to charge whatever they want to. I believe doctors outside of America make less when on a countrywide insurance. I'm not 100% sure.
At Irby_Irby wrote,
What me and my husband have paid out this year for healthcare is a used car. It's insane. $650 a month, $8,550 to give birth. If I got anything out of it, my septoplasty surgery was 100% covered. It's insane.
At Sammy D82 wrote,
I self-pay and put in an extra 10% into my 401k, and if I have an emergency health issue, I'll just borrow out of the 401k to pay for it. At least the 401k you're getting interest and may not need to use it. Insurance you pay $150 to $1,000 a month, you will never get back and still are required to meet a deductible and still have to pay 20 to 30% of the bill. Anything less than 5k, I'll just pay out of pocket.
Chance Neon wrote,
Healthcare, like college, is a damn waste of money. Wake up people's student loans, paying $500 to $600 for a lousy policy that pays for nothing and has a 1 or 2 year waiting period. A dentist once told me to save all my premiums that I would have put into a policy and save and invest it. Eat healthy, exercise, and when you do need health attention, you can negotiate a price for prescription or treatment. People who don't have insurance have better discounts. These are things they don't want you to know, like credit cards and how it can screw you over.
At Brisoza wrote,
I didn't have health insurance for a little over 10 years. From age 16 to 27-ish. My mom was a single parent and was also self-employed, but Blue Cross Blue Shield was quoting her over $600 a month because she couldn't get it through an employer. Mind you, it was this expensive around 2012 to 2013. And no, we weren't rich, and no, we weren't eligible for government assistance either. I relied on urgent care or little clinics inside of CVS just to get me by. But luckily, when I had a more serious health concern that needed surgery, and I did have health insurance through my fiancé at the time. I did have a job, but I worked for a smaller company, and it was just so expensive, so I didn't want to pay. I'm lucky I had health insurance when I did have a health concern that required surgery, but it was still very costly. I maxed out my deductible in November, and I had to start over in January, which is when I had surgery and all these procedures and tests. It was non-stop. They kept looking for things and finding nothing, so after nearly 5 months and probably over $15,000 in medical bills, I was done. and I've been good since. Health insurance in the US just irks me so bad. If you have it, still sucks, and if you don't, you could be in medical debt for majority of your life. It's also just one person, but I had a coworker from England, and yeah, health coverage is free, but he said BC of that people go to the DR more often, and it takes longer to get in. He said his friend couldn't make it before his appendix bursted.
At Stevasanda 5181 wrote,
The Affordable Care Act sets aside 20% for the insurance companies, supposedly to get Republican votes. Yet no Republicans voted for it anyway. Obamacare is a failure. Apparently, pay your fair share doesn't apply to people receiving heavily subsidized care.
At Dark Horse 2018 wrote,
The Doctors Medical Association has to stand up to the for-profit insurance industry. They don't like the system either. They spend more time on bureaucracy than healthcare.
At ES7818 wrote,
In Australia on $270K a year, and my overall tax rate including any and all tax is 32%. We have public health care. It's not perfect, but it seems like for-profit healthcare isn't better in terms of overall outcomes.
Jim K2B1D wrote,
Most young people never bought health insurance. Then Obamacare came. The only way it would work is if everyone bought into it. The government knew it wouldn't be beneficial for the young because they are generally healthy. So yes, you are throwing away money if you are young because you are only needed to keep the prices reasonable for the old sick people. That's Obamacare for ya. The younger Americans were never expected to get any benefit from it. That's why they had to pass the part where you are required to buy into Obamacare.
At Casual Observer 4810 wrote,
Making a lot of sense by just paying out of pocket for the AVG person that'll stack up quick. My kids play sports, so I'm a little skeptical. You did a bit on auto insurance a while back that hit home. Liability and comp is $1,500 a year for me on an, at best, $6,000 ride. I looked into self-auto insurance a while back. It's a thing, but you have to have something like 20 mil confirmed. I'm worth a few bucks, but I'm not even close to that. Strip mall insurance for this guy.
Christy X4K wrote,
The Gov needs to stop sending millions and billions to other countries, and we would all be able to have free healthcare, full body meaning your eyes, teeth, and whole body. There is plenty of money for free insurance. Stop sending money to other countries. Take care of USA citizens first. If the billionaires paid their fair share, we would all be fine.
At Michael Thomas 3543 wrote,
The reason there is no free health insurance in America is the white supremacy thinks that the blacks will die off without free health insurance, another case of white supremacy chopping its nose off to spite its face.
At Adopt-A-Cat 2877 wrote,
ALLYO, you people voted for Obamacare. Obamacare WSNDIS outrageously expensive. THE monthly premiums and copays ARE super expensive ANDNOONECAN afford IT. Because when YO you have TO have a major surgery or YO you get cancer YO you GO bankrupt AND lose your house. THE only people that ARE getting healthcare FO are free RE illegals. And FYO you fall within THE right annual salary each year. YO you getting it FO free. IHADTOPAY a high cost premium. O and Obamacare BUTI never could GOTOTHE doctors ORGTANY test done because THE copays were $50 PO and T00 and UP $50 PO and T00 FOR just O any blood test. BUTIWS scare. I would GET cancer OR have a heart attack or fall. A&D break a bone. SOI capped ITFO emergencies ALL, while MY house needs thousands IN repairs. Chichi only people. Making IT A&D surviving ARE government A&D union employees. THE rest OFTHE millions AND millions OF lower middle class AREFUCED.
At Michael Lee 3342 wrote,
Just so you all know, what's driving these ridiculous health insurance premiums is illegal immigration. I know that probably shocks some of you, but it's a fact, and it's all being pushed so Democrats can get votes. If you don't believe me, then why has all Democrats done a 180 on immigration? Oh yeah, I almost forgot votes. You see, when an illegal immigrant comes to our country and goes to a hospital for anything, they don't pay anything. Literally, because they have no long-term investment here. Like Credit Act. I dated a girl whom I found out later was an illegal, and during that time I found out what they are actually doing to our system, and most people would be furious. I was.
a question mark 4443 wrote,
Affirmation for a better life. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Say it in your head all day, every day, and be a magnet for abundance in health, wealth, and happiness. It is the master key.
a John Lockhart 1813 wrote,
I just waived mine. 39 and very healthy. Significantly cheaper to pay cash for visits for my family and I. Health insurance, like most others, is nothing but a scam.
Tai04Z wrote,
$35 per month for BCBS Preferred. $4 Delta Dental. I feel very fortunate that my copays are $25 to $50 and I can see anyone I want, along with specialists. Get rid of all the free healthcare to illegal immigrants and non-citizens, and the cost will go down dramatically. However, when the Democrats mandate that the government will fund them at $1.5 trillion a year, and all the rest of us who have jobs will be paying for them, no sir. Democrats are holding this mandate over the American people with the government shutdown. Otherwise, they would have signed the current funding bill. Hell, it is the same one they signed back in June this year. They are holding all Americans hostage so they can give all illegal immigrants health care for free.
at A737 Mech wrote,
Just because you got diabetes doesn't mean you ain't gonna live like you. Wanna live life short once you diagnose. You already dying from that exact moment on. So you might as well live the way you wanna live while it goes up. I'm not gonna have insurance, and I'm probably out. After May, at least 50% of the country, so I mean 50% the country, is not going to want or have insurance. Hey, look at this way, at least you get 3 free hots in a cot and free medical.
at Jess White 7161 wrote,
Paid $550 a month for health insurance and went on a mission to get my 14-year chronic cough diagnosed. I paid thousands out of pocket on top of the $550 and NO answers. Had many procedures done, endoscopies, ear/nose/throat. The list goes on and on. NO answers. Health insurance is a scam, and the healthcare industry is a business. It's all about the dollar, 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 dollar. I'm still coughing, and 6 doctors have no idea why. Lame. I should get a refund.
at Dusty Boots XS4L wrote,
I have not been to a doctor in many years, but I recently had to see one, and the one thing I noticed is that they are quick to hand out pain pills and the protocol to check pulse rate and blood pressure.
Trigger Trade A wrote,
Man, I got married 13 years ago. When my husband told me how much our premiums were going to be under the CARES Act, $1,400/mo for just me and him. I said to hell with that, I will become our nurse, doctor, and dentist. I literally became an herbalist and we have been perfectly healthy. I know how to heal so many things just using herbs. And even my family ask me for tips and treatments. I would never pay these people to give me a first-class pass to my grave early. Anytime I need to go to the doctor run test, it always cost way too much, and the meds they gave me always made me more sick. I'll passive, please be safe out here, y'all.
Don Armstrong 1223 wrote,
In the UK, we pay all different taxes, which are supposed to cover different things, and national insurance, which is meant to pay for access to the NHS, but it could be spent on God knows what. We don't get a receipt for what it gets spent on. But that still doesn't cover the cost of dentists or optician visits after the age of 16 to 18. You may get a slight discount if you receive benefits.
At Cody Hall 2328 wrote,
Yeah, that bitch talking shit, complaining, about paying half of rent for medical insurance. I pay as much as my mortgage just to have me and my kids on insurance, plus $6,000 plus a year for the medical bills. And I only gross $70,000 a year. But it's a lot cheaper than trying to pay cash for pediatric cancer treatments, where the price of one shot costs $10,000 and that one's every 3 weeks.
Trigger Trade wrote,
Man, if you don't take your behind to Turkey to get your dental work done, you are crazy $8,000 for getting dental work done. Take that vacation, sir. Take that vacation.
At BZR 160 wrote,
Inuk, it's about 5% tax for healthcare. There is a lot of bull about what we pay. Once you've worked for 35 years, it can be free completely.
At Crisisils wrote,
I'm in my early 60s and now will probably have to cancel. And I have serious diagnoses and am walking in miracles for sure. So I will go G when Jesus comes for me.
At Messi 72 wrote,
Unpaid medical debt is out of control at hospitals. It's in the billions. That's medical cost by people without insurance and people that take advantage of getting care and never paying for it, which makes the cost of care go up. Free medical care is BS because you pay for it by paying high taxes, and getting the care you need is on a waiting list, and some people find out till late they have cancer and only have weeks to MTHS left to live.
At Messi 72 wrote,
Call insurance brokers. They help you find good insurance for less. My son and his wife pay $800 a MTH, and that's outrageous. And I'm 73, and things were a lot better than when I used to work, but my Medicare deductible are getting higher.
01 wrote,
When people ask what's the harm with people illegally entering the country, the hospitals increase their rates on services to cover the cost of serving illegals. They take 20 million plus housing units, which are also subsidized by the taxpayer. They enroll in school that the taxpayer pays for. They sign up for SNAP benefits that were only recently cut off. They take jobs that the youth used to do for a starter income and basic experience, which also keeps working class wages low. To top it all off, they generally don't pay income tax, and even if they do, they had to steal/use someone else's identity to do so. All they do is take and complain about injustice that never even happened to them.
At Hiker Messenger wrote,
Now she understands how the rest of us feel having to pay for our own insurance as well as other people's insurance. Everybody should pay for their own insurance.
At Messi 72 wrote,
I take so many supplements, and they're not cheap, but I don't have to take a lot of medicine other than my B12 injection. You can't get it on the shelf, and organ meat didn't cut it. I'm 73.
Esselgard wrote,
I cancelled at 47. Just eat healthy. Hello, I've had a few visits. Most reduce the bill if you have no healthcare. My worst was 2 root canals, think was $4,400. Was told within $8-ish. In the US.
At news media outlet Suck wrote,
Single, self-employed female here. I pay $680 per in T90 a month through the marketplace for health insurance. I will find a way to pay more if I have to because I have seen people get cancer and struggle to get good care with insurance coverage. Without insurance coverage in this country, one is sure to die if one gets a major illness. I just got a cystoscopy with a bladder biopsy this month. I should have had it last year, but my insurance was purchased through a broker who screwed me over by mispresenting the policy. He tried to talk me out of getting the policy I got this year from the marketplace, citing it wasn't a good policy. P.S. I got a policy with a zero deductible and the procedure I just had only cost me $100. With the policy I had last year, it would have cost me $25,000. Insurance is a necessity. If you get cancer, MS, ALS, diabetes, Parkinson, you will be so screwed.
A chairman Myotsatong wrote,
This woman is really complaining about $400 a month. I pay close to $1,600. It's more than my freaking mortgage. Now I hear premiums are going up even more, like 20 or 30%. I'm also going to be yet another American having to cancel my private insurance. RBMACE fucked, YOO is all.
A Charles Hale 7349 wrote,
People that took that deal never should have lived long enough to realize 10 years later they got screwed by the DR office without going every month. Good deal.
A Janaskin 1 wrote,
Do remember when you turn 65, it comes faster than you think. You have no choice. They take the Medicare premium out of your SS check. Oh, right. And if you don't collect SS until later, they bill you for the Medicare premium directly.
At Aaron Lundman 3857 wrote,
Obamacare and the government backing of healthcare premiums has really screwed up everyone's healthcare insurance. The government backing healthcare insurance does not incentivize insurance companies to keep premiums and costs low.
At SMH 6016 wrote,
Funny how it's Trump's fault for a catastrophe Obama set us up for years before. Are people really too ignorant to understand their ISNO-free healthcare? It was a ruse to steal from working Americans to give to those who have their hands out.
Terma Melissus wrote,
The smartest place in crypto happened before the hype hits. Corvix dollar CRV is early, AI integrated, and still cheap. Once influencers catch wind of this pre-sale, you'll be priced out. Don't say you didn't see it coming.
At LupeFan wrote,
AIXDF is one of the strongest narratives going into this bull market, and Corvix nails it. The fact it's still in pre-sale is wild. I've already decad into CRV. The upside looks massive from here.
A Haggy-Wit wrote,
Been watching AI projects all year, and Corvix dollar CRV token stands out hard. It's in pre-sale, backed by real DeFi products, and still flying under most people's radar. This is the kind of entry point you wish for when BTC is pumping and alts are about to fly.
Cantarzian wrote,
Just a heads up to anyone new in crypto. Don't wait for influencers to shill a token before you buy it. I've seen what happens when Elon even mentions a project. Corvix token isn't there yet, but the fundamentals are strong. And if someone big picks it up, this thing will go nuts.
At Megan GL4ZZ wrote,
They scare everyone into getting it, especially people with kids. I tried last year to just get insurance for my kids and not have me or my husband on the plan, and it was going to be 10x more expensive. I just got a letter from our carrier that said they are cancelling our plan, and if we don't get a new one, they found one for us that will automatically go into effect the 1st of January 2026. Oh, but it's going to be $700 plus more a month, with an almost $20,000 deductible.
At Maskin McCarthy wrote,
Projects like Corvix are exactly what institutional money will chase post-regulatory clarity. AI plus compliance-friendly DFE. CRV has that early blueprint that made things like SUI and AVAX explode.
At Mauricio Trevino D1J wrote,
Everyone's waiting for the next 100x. Corvix CRV token might be it. The tech is aligned with every narrative the market's chasing. A, DeFi, pre-sale opportunity, and long-term utility. You don't get many setups like this.
The Stupidasso wrote,
141. Yeah, man, the teeth are a mission. Many moons ago, before my last visit to my GP, I lost my with tooth pain, so I had all removed in one sitting. It was a huge expense up until then. Here's the best part. Aside from replacing my dentures every 5 years in cash, I've paid nothing for any medical at all since that last GP visit in 2009. Imagine if I had been paying a medical aid all these years. I'm a gambling man, and I won this round.
At Laurelwood 6344 wrote,
There was no health care for me at 18. What a dream world they live in. This is so screwed up. I have to cancel my health ins. Also, life, car, house, health. We can longer afford any of this. Plus frickin' taxes. You brats get a life.
At Forgotten Gen X wrote,
You are way off for health costs in England. I pay approximately £220 a month in iPayment. This covers all of my health care, including hospital stays, surgeries, DRS appointments, subsidized dental visits, state pension, and the only extras I pay are £9 PO and T90 for a month's worth of prescription drugs free if you live in Scotland or Wales.
At Magnificent Devil wrote,
Health insurance was affordable before the so-called Affordable Care Act. It has skyrocketed ever since. I used to get full coverage with zero deductible for a fraction of the cost of a high deductible plan that covers almost nothing. The same year the ACA was passed, the rates just doubled out of the gate and added a deductible.
At Lisa Livingstone 6313 wrote,
I'm retired and Medicare takes $220 out of my measly monthly Social Security check, bringing it down to $952/month. On top of that, I pay $118 for Medigap insurance to cover what Medicare doesn't pay. I have no dental nor eye care. I pay $338/month for healthcare. That doesn't include prescription coverage, as that would be another $120/month off of Social Security. Remember, you must have health insurance, or you'll be charged $3,000 penalty on your yearly taxes.
At Smom 8307 wrote,
I'm 55 and have been very healthy all my life, not on any medications. I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer and can't imagine not having my health insurance policy and dealing with all the costs, including future surgeries.
At Lexix wrote,
It's a huge waste of money, and doctor visits are a waste of time. If someone wants to look me in the eyes and say a life-saving surgery is going to be $500,000, I'm just going to carry on without it. I refuse to play these stupid games.
At Koki Killide 5855 wrote,
Health insurance shouldn't be this expensive. The amount of profits they make is insane. Also, they are so big and powerful in the US. We will never have universal healthcare.
At Chichester Builders wrote,
All these people were tricked with Obamacare. Nothing is free. They use those kinds of words and people still fall for it. The only people who get free healthcare are illegals and low to no income people. Everybody else has to pay.
A Heavy K wrote,
Barack Obama said, and I quote, with the Affordable Care Act, your premiums will go down at least 40% or more. And if you want to keep your doctor, you get to keep. Keep your dick if you like your plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. I was paying $98 a month for the most expensive insurance plan available from my employer.
At Rebecca Barrow 125 wrote,
The great thing about being a veteran is I don't have to pay for myself. I have always believed that healthcare is a scam because it does not cover many expenses. It needs to be reformed that it covers what you pay and includes Vicen and dental.
At Johnny Douchebag NR5YF wrote,
It's gonna get worse. Not enough people working to offset the people that don't want to work leeching off the system. Also lots of fat, lazy Americans and bad health overall constantly going to the doctor.
At Rooster5755 wrote,
The emergency room can turn you away. This is why people with no money go to there instead of an urgent care. My wife works in the medical field, and this is fact. Especially the frequent flyers, so to speak.
At Invadursum79 wrote,
Now imagine if everyone in the US just stopped paying them scammers. I bet we would get something better because they would beg us to come back, maybe even provide a better product.
A Smaller Gov wrote,
About the medical debt. You can't go to jail for not paying per se. BUT where you become FED is when they sue you and get a judgment. You'll enter an agreement per court order, and if you fail to pay, then the court can lock you up for contempt of court. They did threaten my sister with that several years back in Tennessee when she couldn't make the $600 a month court-ordered payment. When they court order you to pay, the debt is almost the same, for example, like entering into child support payments and agreements. It can only go on so long before you are held in contempt for non-payment. The difference there is the state enforcement is responsible for CS, whereas the healthcare system brings in their attorneys to enforce the agreement.
A KFRB1 wrote,
Lived overseas. Don't fool yourself about their healthcare systems. Lots of restrictions, lots of care is just unavailable. Friends couldn't get sonograms when pregnant because their geographic region was excluded. That was almost 20 years ago.
At Shalom wrote,
My friend's dad had a heart attack and was in the hospital for 2 months. The bank took the family's fencing business and the family's home. They were left with nothing.
A Chodkowski01 wrote,
A lot of old people, when they die with a lot of money, donate the money to doctors to help people who have medical problems to help them out.
A Chodkowski01 wrote,
Instead of paying insurance, make payments to saving and investing in your own accounts in case something happens. When I went to the doctor, they asked me how I was paying, and I said cash. The price automatically dropped to 1/10 the cost. A $2,000 MRI cost me $200 cash. A $54,000 operation cost me $9,200, but I had the cash saved.
At Mark Turner versus 7UC wrote,
Everyone in the world can come here and get free food, free rent, and free healthcare for life. All paid for by the white people they hate. Extreme cowardice is the real problem.
At Motivati Orstate wrote,
If it's an emergency, you cannot be turned down when you go to the emergency room. If it is not an emergency, then you will be sent home or to go see a doctor on your own accord. However, if you need follow-up care after an emergency has been treated, then you will have to pay cash moving forward because it's no longer an emergency. So insurance is really only good for hospitalization because everything else would be cheaper if you just paid out of pocket at the end of the day. I will say, anyone paying only $500 a paycheck for an entire family is actually very cheap because it's usually about $1,000 a paycheck for an entire family. I am a nurse and I've seen this in the emergency room setting several times as a person working in the hospital, and I'm also seen issues on the outside being a friend of someone who's dealing with having no insurance and not being able to get procedures followed up on because they're no longer emergent, but when somebody needs a drain tube taken out from an emergency procedure, that was performed and no one would touch her or take her drink tubes out because it was not considered an emergency anymore. However, she kept getting infections from the tubes being in, but still nobody would touch her. They would just treat the infection with antibiotics, but no one would do the surgical procedure to remove these tubes that they had put in urgently. Talk about crazy.
At ABC, Ezesius 1:23 wrote,
Well, I had both hips replaced and a sextuple bypass surgery. Also, I've had 3 colonoscopies, with the first and last requiring removal of precancerous polyps that would have developed into cancer had they not been removed. Then there's medication. I need insurance. This comment was not sponsored by the insurance industry.
At Big Kim, our 9P wrote,
In the 70s and writers, people didn't have nearly as much insurance and nobody thought anything about it. Get a job as a school bus driver, they work 4 hours a day and have dirt cheap Cadillac insurance.
At Smoke Lord 2002 wrote,
There have been extensive studies done on how much the USO would save an individuals if we went to single payer. Roughly 30% a year for individuals and trillions for the government.
At Solid Kratos 963 wrote,
Insurance is horrendous and is up to your company and which provider they use. At the end of the day, it does come to greed sadly. I am thankful that my company helps subsidize part of the cost of insurance with their full-time employees. For me in the state of California, I pay like $150 and the company partners with Athena, which is a sweet deal considering it covers myself and my spouse. Though my company is a privately owned company, so it goes to show you that it just comes down to the greed of companies that are publicly traded and want to save as much money as they can and make their employees pay the bulk of workload for their profits. Though I know things are rising in general in 2026, so I will keep a lookout to see what changes. What is crazy is my spouse also got insurance through their employer, and just to cover herself fully, it came out to almost $300, and she opted in just to be doubled insured since it is safer considering how expensive it is here in California just to go to the doctor. The insurance is United Healthcare, and her company is a publicly traded company, which opened my eyes to how insurance really comes down to how much your employer is willing to help.
At Amy Miller 950 wrote,
I work for a major insurance company. Before the ACA in 2010, you could get an individual plan for basic stuff cheap. ACA requires all insurance to have everything covered. We said this would skyrocket rates.
At Nicholas Z9S6E wrote,
Yeah, as a Canadian, am not impressed. Lost my job because medical reacted too slow, allowed my condition to become acute, and could no longer do my job. Then our insurance wanted me to go back and forth between testing work to see what was wrong, unpaid for like 6 months, and hospital's hours away from me. For how much money we lose to taxes, which is like 60% at this point, doesn't get you anything. They say it's free healthcare. Yeah, good luck getting it. Wait a year for things you need. People are dying waiting for free healthcare.
At Laureline U9C wrote,
Los Algodones, Mexico has quality care. You can stay at Cacopa Casino Resort overnights. I know several people that use Biodental. Very happy with the services. Literally 10% of American dental services. Again, they receive quality care.
At Wanda 520 wrote,
I'm 75 and my insurance is 245 PO and T00 per month. That's the supplemental for Part B, which is about 160 PO and T00. Retired people don't get free health care. Our hospital is covered by Medicare.
At Robleo J1B wrote,
If you do not have health insurance, you are pushing your luck. My heart just cost the ins company $500,000. I pay my premiums happily, always have.
And Nick Channel wrote,
This is also my take on SNAP benefits too. I don't hate the player for taking the money that they are given. I am, however, uptight at the government for letting the problem get this bad where people feel like they need to live off the government rather than creating enough jobs and a stable economy in the first place. The goal of the US government should be to get people off welfare and government aid to become self-sufficient outside of truly disabled, mentally ill, elderly, etc.
At Dorian7215 wrote,
If people cancel their premium, that means all other premiums will be raised to make up the difference. We need a single-payer healthcare system like all the developed countries in the world.
At Ben Higgins 1751 wrote,
As it is, I pay slightly more than 7% of my income to my health insurance. I pay 25%, and my employer pays the other 75%. So in a sense, 13% of my income is for health insurance.
At Roger Berry 8900 wrote,
If you owe a hospital and decide not to pay, all I will say is you better not own your house because they will put a lien on your property.
At R1_RYFT wrote,
12 years ago, in Canada, I was told health insurance without dental was $950 a month for my 3-year-old and myself. I turned it down. A lot of Canada's free health care, no dental, no meds, is pay out of your pocket, even with private health insurance. Yes, in Canada, all taxes total is somewhere around 65% to 70% of income. Meanwhile, illegals receive free healthcare, free meds, and free dental.
At Bell 87 wrote,
1438, that's crazy you say that about Luigi. Since the CEO of UHOFT, all insurance companies across the board are doubling down and have already implemented and begun putting into action changes to not only create the same business model that the former UH CEO had created, most especially with faulty, bias-driven AI automated approval/denial, but going far beyond the standard of coverage and approval rate UH was providing at the time. This even includes UH2. They've all implemented far worse, more impossibly complex small print and red tape for patients to be approved by, and UH along with BCBS and the other big ones like Aetna put your requests for coverage 3 to 4x through the AI automation process before you can even hope for a live person to put eyes on your medical coverage request. HEY Washington. Instead of enjoying your paid vacation ONOUR dime. WHYDONYOU actually GTOFF your butts AND make some changes TOHOW healthcare HAS become mafioso monopolies INOUR country. BUT then, I guess that would EAT into your bottom line TOO, HUH. Meter Dems NOR reps are like care ATLL about ANYOF this. The E just putting ONS.
The Sum Toast wrote,
I'm in the reserves. I pay $274 for TRICARE and $86 for dental for my entire family. Total $360 per month. I joined because I couldn't afford commercial premiums anymore. TRICARE is about the closest to socialized healthcare this country will ever get. But gotta do the time.
Jay Sustain wrote,
What a mess. And the medical industry just keeps changing more and more. The taxpayer increase their subsidies more and more, and the cycle continues more and more.
At Andik Suda wrote,
1020 that lady's gonna get a crazy wake-up call when someone in her fam of 5 has an emergency. Imagine being her kid, and you get less care cause mom was too cheap.
At Pretty Kitty 5416 wrote,
ALL insurance is a scam. Car insurance, home insurance, health insurance. None of it ever covers anything when you need it. I had dental insurance, ended up spending $900 at a dentist.
At Real Rickenralla 4251 wrote,
Get an HSA high deductible. We are able to take out pre-tax free contributions, lower our taxable income, and store it in an account. The premiums are very low.
At Andik Suda wrote,
I was healthy all my life until I wasn't. Needed emergency surgery 2 months ago, needed 12 of my colon removed, and was at the hospital for 14 days. $140,000 plus. With insurance, my out-of-pocket is only $4,500. The thought of having no insurance and freeballing it sounds great extra money, but damn, I would have been FUCD.
At Lord Lemoncake wrote,
Dude, if you have a middleman in your healthcare system whose interest is to make profit, then you seriously think that 7% of your salary is too much when the prices in healthcare without the middleman would be much, much less. I am amazed because you guys basically allow mega corporations to dictate prices instead of regulating them, so you take it as normal, as a baseline that everything costs a lot, and you make bubbles in every single thing in the economy where the prices are unrealistic. And I don't think you understand that it is what your politicians do when they side with the money and the interest of megacorporations instead of representing your interest as your OWN elected representatives. Never mind, I will just watch as you get destroyed. It's entertaining, and a broken US is much less dangerous for the planet.
At Elizabeth Mosier XG2QO wrote,
So I've worked in healthcare in both the US and England. In the UK, they are much more focused on prevention than treating chronic diseases. Also, when you have universal healthcare, your car insurance is astronomically lower since people can't sue you for medical expenses.
At Bonwea 5077 wrote,
I am a paramedic, and for the last 2 years I had to pay $4,000 additional dollars for using too much healthcare credits. I work shift work and occasionally get overtime, so I ended up making more money than I expected last year. However, with my OT pay, I went $20 over the federal limit to qualify for my health savings credits and has to repay all my premium health credits I was allocated for. So for everyone looking at health insurance, be careful, otherwise you may be in the same boat I was in if you really rely on those credits. I won't say I agree 100% with Jack, but he's on the right track with just making the right choices.